All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Minarich, and I'm going to talk today on the Almost Heaven Star Party, but more specifically, the site that the Almost Heaven Star Party is held at and some of the events and stuff going on. Kind of a travelogue. I'm not going to do a whole lot with what I actually deserve. A little bit. I'll give you a little bit of that. But I retired, and I decided that I wanted to go to as many star parties as I could get to. See how many dark skies I can get to. Maybe compare some of those dark skies. And I've had the pleasure of going to a number of these, and I'll describe them all at the end. But this has become one of my favorite places, is the Almost Heaven Star Party. I've been to this site 3 times. I'm actually going back there again next week to start the Almost Heaven Star Parties next week. They actually have 2 parties there now. They have one in May called Night Owl. The Almost Heaven Star Party is run by the Northern Virginia Astronomical Club of Novak. And the Night Owl, which is on the May, is actually run by the facility here, the Experience Learning Center at the top of Spruce Knob Mountain. It's the Spruce Knob Mountain Center, and they run the May one. It's kind of a low key. There's no prizes. There's a few talks, but very basic. I'll tell you a little bit about the site, what goes on there. So this is not just. Here we go, there, James. Not just. The Almost Heaven with the Night Owl Star Party. And that's a view taken by Jeff Ball facing south on a typical, very nice, clear night for the Almost Heaven Star Party. And why Almost Heaven? I'm going to move this over here. This is a night sky map of kind of the Northeast. And you see where the 2 areas are that are blue-black. Those are very dark skies. Those are Bortle 1, Bortle 2 skies. And they happen to be my 2 favorite places to go, Cherry Springs and Spruce Knob. Very, very dark place. Where's Calhoun? Is that over here somewhere?
I was going to jump up and tell you. Have you ever heard of Calhoun County Park?
Yeah. Right there. Okay, so it's in the same, okay. That's West Virginia. There's a lot of mountains in West Virginia. I got to tell you that much. But
not that many people.
Not that many people, lots of mountains. But that's why Spruce Knob, it's also a very, very dark place. Arguably as dark as, maybe darker than in Cherry Springs. Here's the Bortle 2 skies. You see the little, can you see the little black dot right here? That's an actual measurement. Have you ever heard of a light meter that measures, so SQM is a sky quality meter. It measures brightness per square meter, and a perfectly dark sky has a SQM of 22. And it's kind of a logarithmic scale, but it shrinks down as you get closer to that number. So the closer you get to 22, the better your skies are. And you can see that here that somebody's measured it at 21.94. That must have been a really, really good night. I don't think I've seen that dark there yet, but that's a pretty dark sky there. But Bortle 2 skies, the last time I was there, we were there, Bortle 2, one night. The other nights were like Bortle 3 skies. The site is on an anticline. There's nobody here from geology. So an anticline is a fold in the rock that goes up. A syncline is one that goes down. So rocks fold. So an anticline is a rock that's folding up, and it's eroded. This anticline, and I'm going to move this again on you, James. This anticline is oriented northeast, southwest, and it's tipped to the southwest. So when you're on top of this mountain, when you look to the southwest, everything drops below you. So you don't have a flat horizon. Your horizon drops. So when you're looking at something like Scorpius, that here would be dragging on the horizon, you've got 5-10 degrees below Scorpius that you can actually see because you're way up high on a mountain. You're looking down. You actually pick up. It's almost like you're further south than you really are when you look at it. The summit of Spruce Knob is about 4,800 feet, a little 4,800 feet. This center is right below the summit. So here's the summit here, and then it kind of drops down. This is all the eroded part here. This is where the Spruce Knob Mountain Center is. It's right over there. So here's the site. This is the daylight version of the same thing you just saw. You're kind of facing southwest as it dips. This is the main field. People can park here with cars and tents, set up cars and tents right here. If you go past this field, there's a road that splits the field. It's just tents down there. No cars. You got to park off to the side, and you can see the directions that you're facing. Off to the west, there's not a whole lot of camper area there, RVs or campers. You would not bring a traditional RV up this hill because it is a very nasty road. Hopefully, they didn't really cover this thing. It's a dirt road. The last 2.5 miles are dirt road. The first time I did this was 9 miles of dirt road. We actually paved a whole bunch of it. And it was 7 miles. It wasn't too bad. But the last part of it was really bad. So really bad. I know a guy that broke an axle. Not an axle, a spring. Hitting a hole over there. Yeah. So here's the Almost Heaven Star Party application. You can see that it's next week, August 22nd and 26th. It's $95 for a primary register to come in. If you want a tent camp, that's what it would cost. And if you're going to do an RV, it's another, I think it's another $100. And if you're a member or you're a prior registrant, you get like a $20 discount. I actually joined the Northern Virginia Astronomical Society. It's about the same price as our club is, and so I get a member discount as well. And I keep up with all the other stuff that joins there. And they offer meals there. You can make your own meals, and they have a nice meal program. I'll describe that in a minute. Meals are daily. You can't just buy a breakfast or a lunch or dinner. You buy a whole day's worth of meals. So you would get a lunch, dinner, and the next morning's breakfast if you do meals. And I'll show you what some of those look like. It's a pretty good menu there. And if you're interested in going, I convince you that this is a great star party you want to go to. Registration opens up in April generally for an August star party. And it typically doesn't sell out because it's a huge field. You can put a lot of people up there. Here's the field this is the main field. We're looking west, kind of northwest. There's tent camping that's going on. There's tent camping that's going on here, and then there's space over here for about 6 to 7 campers considered RVs. We move the stuff around here. So it's all tent and RV camping. There's no other options there. There's no cabins or anything. There is showers on site and porcelain if you don't like outhouses. There are outhouses out there as well. You can actually see 2 to the left of the yellow tent. You can cook your own meals. No open fires or buy daily meals. There's no electricity on site. So everything's on battery, but every field has a spot where you can drop off batteries and they'll haul them over up to the main area, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you can charge your batteries up there, put them back. You can use a generator, get a generator, use a generator every day. Not at night, but you can use one during the day, charge yourself up. So no power on the field. No power on the field. And you definitely want to do your own cooking up there. The nearest restaurant, you'd have to drive down the mountain, so you're going down a couple thousand feet, winding road, nasty road, finding a restaurant. It's really impractical to go to a restaurant. Unless you're going on a trip, on an outing and you come back and you do it that way. That's where I'm at right there. It's my camper. Telescope in front of it. Broken screen. No, not me. I never broken screen. There's another guy there. So here's my trip. You can make this in a day. It's a little over 7 hours to drive down from here, literally from here, because I live right around the corner here. But what I do is I make a 2-day deal out of it. I'll drive one day all the way down to Harrisonburg, Virginia, and then the next morning get up and make a quick 1.5, 2-hour drive up the mountain to go to. And what it does is it allows me to get to the site at like 10:30 in the morning versus getting to the site at 5 o'clock at night exhausted. So to me, it's worth it to spend an extra night make a dinner, relax, and then the next morning it's a relaxing morning, just packing things up, making sure I got all the water, and then going on there. So that's how I do it. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick little. This is another jet ball video. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I just want to show the introduction to this.
On the western slopes of West Virginia's highest peak lies a meadow, home to the Experience Learning Center and to the Almost Heaven Star Party. The observing fields at Almost Heaven Star Party are at 4,000 feet above sea level. From the main yurt looking north, you take a short path to the bathhouse, which houses the restrooms and showers. This is the brown shingled building. From the main yurt looking to the southwest, on the left you see the gravel driveway that splits the observing fields for the Almost Heaven Star Party. The circular concrete pad you see is a new outdoor yurt being constructed.
It's constructed.
We are now panning across the observing fields. The lower field you see here will house tent and car camping.
It's an observatory.
The upper field will house RVs. The gravel road splits those two fields from the southern field where it's tent camping only. The main yurt is home to our educational programs as well as all dining options. There will be no electricity on the field. You will have to provide your own. There will be recharging options near the main yurt.
So here's those yurts. The one that he said was under construction is here. It's a kind of outdoor yurt. It's just a place that you can come in out of the elements, out of the sun. This yurt here is an indoor room, kind of a rainy room for registration, but it's also a place where there's tables, there's Wi-Fi in there. It's enclosed, so it's cold, it's heated. And then the next yurt over here, this one is the kitchen prep area. There's some dining tables in there, and that's where they serve all the meals. There's other small yurts around that you can rent as a room if you're on, or use as a room if you're on staff. But if you're just going to the Star Party, they really aren't available to anybody just going to the Star Party. Here's that outdoor yurt. Most of the talks are held outside. It's a beautiful summertime for this Star Party, so most of the talks are held out here. You can see there's a little activity going on there. It's a beautiful structure. You look at this thing and I'm in awe of how they actually put this thing up. With all those 2x12s are all strung together. This is not really well here. Are all strung together to make this yurt. Here's an outdoor view of the indoor and the outdoor yurts, and there's the line for food. That was from May from the Night Owl Star Party. And speaking of food, here's the menu for the Night Owl Star Party. Let me move this over. This is really frustrating here.
Is that the new cable?
Yes, the new cable. So I'm not going to go through the meals, but take a look at the meals. It's a pretty rich menu. You could probably put on weight here if you didn't do an awful lot of walking around. But you do an awful lot of walking around. The food is very good. $44 a day for food. And a ridiculous amount of activities. Here's the activity schedule. This is for the 2023 Star Party. And there's a lot of overlapping things. So especially on Saturday, all these are different activities that you can do. So another reason I find myself going multiple times is there's a lot of activities that are going on. You can't read any of that. I'll go through some of the activities that are going on. Now, this is in an interesting area. It's in a radio quiet zone. So your cell phone is pretty much useless unless you're in that one building that has Wi-Fi to use your phone. But the Wi-Fi is decent in there. You can use your computer. You got decent speed, and your phone can connect to Wi-Fi. You can call your loved ones at home. Let them know you're okay. But here's some of the activities that are going on there. You can go canoeing on Spruce Knob Lake. It's about a 3-hour tour. Caving. Caving is now reopened in West Virginia. I don't know if anybody else did caving in here, but the caving actually closed down in 2009 nationwide because of a bat disease with bats called white nose fungus, WNF. Yeah. Anyway, bats were spreading it between each other, and it was determined that humans weren't doing it. But caving is now open, and I actually did a caving trip. I'll describe that. You can take a tour of the Green Bank facility, a behind-the-scenes tour. I'll give you a little bit of a peek of that. And you can actually go to Green Bank and do overnight gathering radio data using one of those radio telescopes. There's a hike that goes right to the top of Spruce Knob Mountain. It's not a long hike, 2.5 hours hike that's back and forth. So we're actually pretty close to the hike to the top of the mountain. There's a scenic railroad. I haven't done this one yet, but I plan on doing it next week. It's an old railroad. It's actually old actual railroad, and they've got three or four runs that they do. There was a lot of logging that was done there. This is genuine. You're riding on old 19. I'll describe it later. Cass Mountain Railroad. There's a Morris Observatory tour, and I pointed out that observatory that was kind of in the hill. That's a private observatory that a guy bought that land. It's basically adjacent to all this, and built an observatory. And I'll talk about that in a minute. It's a bird watching walk every morning. If you want to do some bird watching, walk around that, and there's a geology hike as well. There's a geologist that belongs to Novak that does a talk once on a tour to give you a little idea of the site and the geology of the area. All right, so the cave. I'll give you a little bit. Anybody ever go caving? Anybody here ever go caving? I know one guy's going to caving because I've gone caving with him. Okay. So the wild caving is a little different because you actually get wet. You actually bump your head into stuff when you do it. Yeah. So we went to the Sinks of Gandy cave system, about 3 miles long. It's about 3 miles back and forth. It's about a mile and a half, a little over a mile and a half in, and then right back out again. Here we are going into Caves of Gandy system.
I think we're approaching the entrance to Sinks of Gandy. About 10 of us on this group. Pretty popular cave. We did see several other people up top, so we'll probably have some friends down here. The wet entrance, so we're going to be likely up to our knees in water before we get too far. All right, see a little bit on the inside.
Meant much caving. I caved for about 10 years with being Boy Scout troop, doing some caving down in West Virginia. This was not a cave we did before, so I had a blast doing it after not doing it for like 12, 14 years. Here's a little bit of inside, a little story that I think our guide was telling
If you
us.
guys look up, this green stuff is what we call goblin's gold. It is a green lichen that grows on in our caves here, and then when condensation collects on it, it's very sparkly like gold. And a story that I've heard about Sinks of Gandy is back in the day when it was everybody's looking for gold, the gold rush. They came in the cave to, look for gold underground, and they look up and they see all these beautiful, sparkly gemstones on top of our cave, and so they collected it all, put it in their pockets, and once they exited the cave and they got out, they pulled out their gemstones from their pockets, and it was all mud. They had collected just a bunch of lichen, and it was all wet from the condensation, and it was not gold at all. So this is what we call goblin's gold.
You think something might have changed since then?
Now it's some gold. Maybe we should try. Maybe you can try if you want. Who's singing hi ho, hi ho? And then a fun thing that we have here is this is mermaid rock. So you can sit on here and pretend to be a mermaid. Yeah.
And Photoshop some waves as well.
Yeah.
And so we reached the end of the Sinks of Gandy. We went out and back. We're almost back. Thank you.
Oh, we should have. Yeah. Well, we can always do an after.
So that was a fun tour. I really enjoyed that. So there's a Green Bank Observatory tour. That is, so you're going on to the premises of Green Bank, and this is the last place that you can actually take pictures with your phone. You can go into the shop there, and there's a museum, and your phone is fine there. You can take pictures of everything you want inside there. But any part of the tour that you're going to go on, your phone is turned off and put into a Faraday cage. It's like you're like on a bus, and you cannot use your phone except for one place. You can use it on the tour. We drive past each of these radio telescopes, and they have a whole bunch of them. I'll describe some of them really briefly for you. But the only other place you can use your phone is in the Green Bank Telescope control room. This control room is lined in copper. It's a Faraday cage. If you look at the door frame is brass, and above where the exit sign, that's copper. The walls are all lined with copper. The window screens have copper screens on them at a very specific dimension, so it won't let radiation out from phones. The microwave all the way over on the right has an extra Faraday cage around it, because the microwave is a little different wavelength than everything else, so it's got an extra cover on top of that. The guide there is opening up the floor, showing you that there's no Wi-Fi in there. Everything is cabled for computer transmissions, because you don't want any of that radiation coming out of there.
So you can use them, but they don't work.
What's that?
You can use your phone, but it doesn't work.
No, because my phone was in a Faraday cage locked in the bus, except for here. I could use it in here, and then I had to put it back. When I got back on the bus, I had to put it back in the Faraday cage on the bus.
Right. In the control room, you can take pictures.
Yeah. No, you can't make a phone call.
Yeah.
You can take pictures. That's all you could use your phone for there. But they don't want you using your phone to take pictures otherwise, because your phone is going to try to establish a connection. And you can't count on people making their phone, so it won't do that. So pretty interesting.
Such as any phone, any camera too. They don't
So
any-
they actually sell film cameras. So I was really pissed. They didn't, yes.
I wonder about hearing aids.
Oh yeah.
Did they say anything about that?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
I was actually there at the end of June, and hearing aids are fine. ASI airs are fine. C-stars. I was there for the remake Star.
Okay.
There is a place in the back of the museum where you plug your phone in and get internet. I had to chase all the teenagers out.
I'm trying to see what's going on here. Something changed. So there's the telescopes, the radio telescopes that are on site. A 20 millimeter scope, the 40-foot scope, the 12-meter scope is an educational scope. But if you go for the overnight, that's the one you use. There's some people that are actually doing stuff with it. This is the scope you would use to gather radio data overnight. Down here, this is an older, just like a demo scope. The Reber telescope. It's kind of on the entrance as you're driving in. You'll pass this telescope. This 140-foot scope is, I don't know how this thing is even standing. It's really awkward looking up there. And then finally, this 85-foot Tate telescope was the very first scope on the premises. In fact, after they built this one, they actually built two more, and they created the world's first interferometer using that telescope. And I have a little history on that scope. So there's the Tate telescope, circa 1959. It's the first scope they had. They built, like I said, they built two more to make the first interferometer. Anybody know who this guy is? Who might have used radio telescopes back then?
Frank Drake.
Yes, that's Frank Drake. Perfect answer. Frank Drake. Frank Drake is famous for the Drake equation, the guy that predicting the possibility of life in the universe. So he was using this interferometer and this telescope, this radio telescope, looking for. In fact,
life on this planet.
Well, there's life. We don't know if it's intelligent or not.
Have they found any yet?
Not yet.
You notice that's pointed up and away.
Yes. So this site is also, and Larry mentioned it, it's also cited the Green Lake Star Quest. It's a star party that happens, usually coincides about the same time as the Cherry Springs Star Party, if it's still around. And it's an optical and a radio star party and conference. It's a 4-day party, about $115 if you want to go. There's tent camping only, no generators, because those generate a radio signal. Well, that's the picture from this year's party. So it looks like they had a good 100+ people there at this year's party. You're in that picture, Larry?
I'm in that picture.
Okay.
And unfortunately, report that made in the last
Oh no, really?
inside information.
Okay.
I had a voice from the NSF says the facilities will be mothballed.
Oh, no kidding. Wow, that's sad. Anyway, here's another one of those. Is those activities, the Cass Mountain Scenic Railroad, and there's 5 railroad trips you can do. I'm going to do one of these on Sunday. That's like a 3.5-hour thing. You get to ride on an old train, runs on coal, belches out a lot of smoke, but we're in West Virginia, so we don't care about that. So I'm looking forward to doing that in next week. Here's the view from above. Again, looking southwest. Or actually, this is looking northwest. So I wanted to point out this is where that Morris Observatory was. It's on the hill. Normally, I'm parked like over here, right here. So I gotta walk up the hill there, a few hundred feet to the Morris Observatory, and so here's that observatory. He built this himself. He strapped all the stuff on there, and it's a project scope. It is actually, and I thought it was a manufactured scope. He built this scope. An absolutely beautiful 16-inch ATM projects with a Zambuto mirror in it. He's taken all kinds of really interesting deep sky images, and he'll tell you all about his stuff there. If you ever go to the Star Party, make sure you walk up the hill and go visit him. He sets off some time in the afternoon to visit. And if you want to come up at night and see or use not really use the scope, but watch it using the scope in action, you can do that as well. And then some of you may know Skip Bird. He comes to sort of the Cherry Springs and Black Forest stuff. He's from the Westminster Astronomical Society. He's always got some kid activity that he does. This is his fun with physics, or why Newton was all wet. Newton was all wet because he does it with water rockets. So it's a lot of fun to do the water rockets. Skip. Here's where I am. I'm set up. This is from May. I was rooting for Syracuse in the quarterfinals of the NCAA Division I lacrosse. They lost. That's why I had my Q's hat on. I was kind of hoping they would win. But that's me, my latest setup with my camper to the right of my head, my truck right next to it. You get to know these people that are near you because they come to these parties all the time. The guys here came from Michigan. They actually rented this. They rent this. Two guys that rent it, load all their stuff on it, drive it to Star Parties, come back. This guy over here is Rich. Rich comes from Maryland. I've seen him. This is the second time, actually the third time I've seen Rich at the Star Party. I'll see Rich again next week. But you get to see. I was just talking with Larry. You see the same people at these parties over and over and over again. Beautiful skies, wide open spaces. This is the first almost heaven star party I was at. This is my scope setup, kind of looking into the west. And at night. And then this is my new scope here, new to me scope here, set up in May. And that's the scope set up last year at the almost heaven star party and covered up. The day I went to Green Bank, it poured. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was like, oh, it's a great day to be on a tour. And my scope got water in its rocker box. I was pissed. Luckily, everything was okay. It all dried up. But yeah, I got pretty wet that day.
How big is that?
That's this one. So the scope that's on the top left, that's a 20-inch f5. And this one is a 14.5-inch f5. It's for sale. It has to pay for the other one. It's on cloudy nights right now. Yes, exactly. The skies are pristine there, but my iPhone camera sucks. But I put up this page, my iPhone view of the same thing in the south. So I went in August of 23, and from what I heard, this was like the best almost heaven star party I ever had. It was my first one, and it bit me because we had 3 nights in a row that are absolutely incredible, dusk to dawn, not a cloud in the sky. I was exhausted on the third night. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time. I got over 400 Herschel objects over those 3 days when I was observing. 80 of the 400.
I did the 400.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then I went last year. Friday night was wonderful. Saturday, my rocker box got soaked. And Sunday was beautiful. And then Monday, which was actually a relief on Monday because after midnight I was exhausted anyway. So going to bed early on a Monday night was great and left on Tuesday morning. And then this is from May, Night Owl Star Party, Memorial Day weekend. Friday was spotty. We had some clouds in and out, but I kind of moved around and sat between the clouds, just getting things kind of set up. So I was up most of the night, but it was really a lot of hunt and peck. And Saturday night was gorgeous all night long. And then looking at the weather, it was going to get cloudy Sunday night and Monday night. It was actually going to go 2 more nights. But what I do normally is, because I make a stop on the way home, I usually stop at Cherry Springs on the way home. Because it's about a 5.5 hour back to Cherry Springs, and then a 2.5 hour from Cherry Springs to home. So it breaks it up, and it's a place that I'm comfortable with, and I can do more observing. So I left and went to Cherry Springs, and we had 2 beautiful nights at Cherry Springs over Memorial Day weekend. So what did I observe? I observed my Herschel objects. Like I said, I have over 80 objects there, and I have 8 objects left with my Herschel 400. So I'm getting very close. They're all spring objects, so they're going to be difficult because spring's when it's cloudiest for us. We'll see what happens. And I've been working on this year the Astronomical League Planetary Nebula list. It's 110 objects there. and I got 45 so far. But the object I really thought was cool, and I saw this on the last observing night at Almost Heaven, is this object, M29. It's a planetary nebula, and this is my view. So this is my 20-inch f5 telescope. This is with my 9mm Nagler, and so it's like almost 300x. And this is what I see. This ring is what you'll see through that eyepiece. Now you're going from a bigger eyepiece to a smaller and smaller to get this. This is the best view I got of this nebula, but it's clearly. I think I make it so I can zoom in. It clearly is two lobes. Is that a cool thing to see through an eyepiece or what? And you don't see anything else like that when you look through an eyepiece. So highly recommend this piece if you want to go take a look at it. It's called M29 or Minkowski's butterfly. Here is the Hubble image of this object. Is that cool? Was an early Hubble image too, 1997. So I don't want to go through all the little things I observed. I think I picked out one key thing that I really enjoyed finding. So, and this is, like I said, this is an easy trip to make another stop back at Cherry Springs. In fact, last year when I went to Almost Heaven, I left Almost Heaven and went to Black Forest Star Party. Literally left one and went to the other. And this is last year, going to Cherry Springs, and then from there it's only 2.5 hours home. And here's that ride home. It's a much more direct ride back home, going through Cherry Springs. And that's my Almost Heaven Star Party. So here's my bucket list. You know, you guys have been to some of these: Black Forest, Cherry Springs. So here's the ones I've been to. These are on my list yet. Stella Fane. I wanted to go to Stella Fane this year, but I waited too long. I should have made my reservation as soon as it went up because they're very limited. I like to bring my camper just for comfort's sake. And I missed out on a camper spot. I wasn't just going to go to tent camp. I've given up tent camping if I can. So I missed Stella Fane, so another year for that. And then the Stanton River Star Party I went to last fall. That's really good. That's a nice star party too, except it's a little bit of a drive. I actually stay at the same place on the way down in the drive in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and then drive all the way down. This is right on the border of North Carolina and Virginia, so it's a haul. Okie-Tex is on my list. Green Bank Star Quest is on my list, and I think I'm taking it off my list because I just found out you can't bring a camper, so I'm not going. And it sounds like it's almost done anyway.
You can't what?
You can only tent camp there.
No, you can.
Oh, they made it clear that you had to have an excuse in order to bring you had to have like a disability to bring a camper. Yeah.
That's bad information. I had my camper.
Oh, you were. All right.
My buddies were there.
All right, I'll leave it back on the list then.
Put it back on.
And then I wanted to go to the oil region Astro Blast at some point.
You can bring your camper.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. I know somebody. Peach State Stargaze intrigues me. It's probably not very dark there, but I'd like to check that out. Chiefland down in Florida. Actually, one of our members, Leo, lives there, so it'd be good to see Leo. It's a nice place to visit. Nebraska is a really big star party. It's a really dark star party. It's a really far star party. It's probably the farthest of all these, except for the last one. Yeah. Nebraska would be farther away from here than Texas. Yeah. I think. Or close. It might be the same. We could talk about it all day. And then, well, it's not the farthest. The farthest is the Ozsky Star Safari. That's in Australia. That would not be a camping trip. So what are my plans? Next up, I'm going to Almost Heaven Star Party next week, and I'm going to Okie-Tex in September. So I'll be missing the Black Forest Star Party because it's the exact same time as Okie-Tex. I'm looking forward to going to Okie-Tex. And then starting to plan next year, I was thinking about Stella Fane, but it's actually the same date as a cruise that I'm taking in the Mediterranean to see the total solar eclipse. And if I can convince my wife to get one more distance one, I might go back to the Texas Star Party in the spring. That's generally the end of April, beginning of May. So we'll see if I can get to that one again. I really enjoyed the Texas Star Party. Texas is nice because there's no dew. There's a lot of dust, but no dew. No dew. Well, that's it for me. Questions? Any,
What's the availability of the site outside of the Star Parties?
what do you mean?
Yeah, like, can you go to that?
Oh, so that's a great question, because if you're a member of Novak, you can go up there any new moon weekend. You just need to let people know that you're going to go. So because that Spruce Knob Mountain Center is available to anybody that's a member of Novak on a weekend free. You don't have to pay for it on a non-Star Party weekend. It's a long drive though from here. Yes.
Which spot river did you say you went to, the spring or the fall?
I went to the fall one. The fall one.
How is power on the field? I hear they roll out.
Yeah, they roll out. They roll out a cord. It's fine. It's fine. It's good power out there.
Helps good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure where the Nebraska Star Party is in Nebraska. Oh, when is it? I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't remember what month it is. I think Nebraska is in the fall. I don't know for sure. I can look it up. Any other questions? What's that?
You take the camper to all of these?
Except for the one in Australia.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. So I've done Star Parties for a long time, and I've camped on the ground for a very, very long time. But since 2022, I've been using my camper to go to Star Parties. I got a nice queen size bed in there. I got a kitchenette, place to sit, and a bathroom. So if I haul water, I can shower. I can it can heat. I can cool. It's a pretty nice situation doing a camper. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Why don't we take a 5-minute break for the next talk?
Yes. Okay.
Oh.